Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 7 of Kokai, our modded Cities 2 build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. There has been some amends since last episode. We built a marina on live stream, and then Biffa, of all people, named the saggy node point during the stream as well, as we just expanded out some little coastal details for the new town of Upper Sully, which is coming along tremendously well, isn't it? Well, I'd like to start today's episode by just talking about what our plans are going forward here. So I think there's likely to be a vote on the community tab for this, whether or not we go for light rail or train as a new form of public transport here as we head towards a medium to high density. Now, I'm taking inspiration here from Oceanside in California. Shout out for the comment last episode that mentioned this is a great idea, perfect inspiration for what I'm looking to build. But whether or not the city is really ready for trains yet, I think is another question. I think maybe it's likely we'll start this as a light rail system, which is what we'll plan today. And then maybe in a few episodes' time, once we need that longer distance travel, that's when we can look to introduce trains as a longer form transport alongside this light rail that's going to run a considerable distance up the coast here, parallel with the national road before we introduce some grander interchange, which will be a few episodes' time once we get down here. But that's the plan. It's a lot to digest. We've got some pretty nice demands here as well, lots of residential, and another beachfront to develop too, as we come all the way up here. So it should be a lot of fun as town continues to grow. But either way, let's get started with it, shall we? So we've not got a bad budget at the minute. We're earning 12k an hour. So why don't we take this opportunity to have a look at trams in our public transport menu? So of course we want trains. We'll get them for a point, and then we'll jump straight to trams as well. So let's have a look at our tram depot. So it's only going to be 100k, that's a small dent in our budget. And I think in terms of this big service asset, very similar to what we did with our bus station over here. It's always nice to kind of position these larger public city service vehicles and depots around next to major infrastructure. I think it really makes a difference just to how they look, doesn't it? Like, totally something you'd see driving on a kind of a national road like this. Lots of inspirational up the UK motorways for kind of the highway police, if you like. They have little depots off of slip lanes that only they're allowed to enter up and down the motorway. Kind of a similar vibe, right? So as we move into a Midtown here, I definitely want to notice an increase in density, both with the road as well. So this week's episode of Edinburgh, if you're not following it, we made a 4-lane road with tram median. Now this is going to be pretty much perfect for what I want to use here. Of course, this is using the new road builder mod. Everyone must have heard of this thing by now. Absolutely incredible. TDW has taken over the world with road builder. Incredible mod. So let's cut off that arterial where we want to upgrade it. Let's do one here. Now we'll have to do a little bit of Anarchy, but that's okay. And then we'll take that straight down as well. And then from this point here, this is where we can introduce our big Chungus road for the what will be light rail for us to run down. Again, we'll just use that as the base template for right now, and then we can do maybe some more custom sections of this as well as we need it if we just want to maybe add some asymmetry to the roads, perhaps. We'll see what develops. So if that's going to be the cutoff point, let's go ahead and get our depot down. For you, I wouldn't mind it. Thing's going to have quite bad noise pollution, right? It's medium, so I mean, I'm happy to lose some low density residential. It's not like it's the end of the world if that gets deleted. Let's just prepare for that. Let's get rid of those guys. Likely probably have to clear out a couple on the end there as well. Sorry people, but your precious single family home memories are being demolished because I like trams. Wonderful. So how about that? Just on the corner. Pretty simple. It's going to sandwich really nicely there between the highway, isn't it? Maybe a little bit of fencing in here as well. Well, I guess it doesn't really need it if the depot has fencing, I suppose. But that's going to be quite nice there, isn't it? Let's go ahead and just add some tram roads to this line here. Oh, and that just perfectly connects. Isn't that wonderful? Superb. Absolutely superb. Throw that over there too. And you know what? We could even develop a wonderful little tram arrivals point here with some bus. Oh, this could turn out to be particularly spicy, I think. this could end up being very nice. We'll have our trams come out here, and then we'll open up this new neighborhood with a tram bus interchange, because we do have buses here. Of course, introduced in a couple of episodes ago. There they are. Little violet buses. Let's have a little look at the line while we're here. There's a few people waiting on the BRT. Oh, by the way, I haven't mentioned, we're now using the wonderful Recolour mod, which you guys have been suggesting over the last few episodes. We have used it here. We'll have a little example of how it works. Let's take this little grey side apartment here, and then with the mod installed, you'll notice a new module on the building interface, and then with some pretty simple sliders here, we can change the colours of the building. Obviously, it's just a whole colour swatch, so whatever colour and shade you want. And it just makes it this really bright pop of colour that you can introduce along your coastal areas in particular. I've done some other ones here. You can see the red and the turquoise one have been changed. God, doesn't that make everything just pop a little bit? Some desperate colour needed for CS2. So that's the Recolour mod if you want it. And then we've also got this big pink one here as well, which was recoloured. It is, I guess, Overcharged Eggs, big pink paradise, isn't it? So to speak. So definitely get the Recolour mod if you're into it. We'll use it again today as well. Right, cool. So bus lanes, let's go ahead and grab some of those. We'll do, I guess if we're just going to have one bus turning around from here, it can just run, I guess where are we going to send it? It's currently stopping outside this park, so we can bring it down the side of the road here, loop it up to the stop with the trams, and then send it back down the main road, link up with its current bus route. So let's add those bus lanes in there. Super. So that bus infrastructure has now been expanded across. I've never noticed that little sign before. What did that say? Colossal Avenue in Chirp Street. How adorable. So yeah, so we just introduced a little bus shelter, which actually blocks the street here. Really closes off that person's driveway, doesn't it? Rest in peace to that house right there. Cool. So we've also added a waypoint into the bus route as well, which now helps this bus system grow out over here, which is absolutely wonderful. And then we'll just create a very simple tram loop here. Something like that would be perfect. And then this space right here, super detailable in terms of what we can add to this with surfaces and props, come out time lapse and whatnot. So very happy with that. And that should make this whole area here quite enjoyable, I think. Super walkable, especially once we get some surfaces in. So at some point here, I'd like the arterial road to diverge off toward the coastline a little bit. So we'll just trim this back because I want it to just be a touch closer toward the water. And then as it does that, I think I'm probably going to peel this light rail system off on its own for certain sections. Perhaps where it might then intersect with those train stations that will be set up in the longer term. Maybe we can kind of map one of those out today, just to kind of visualize the idea. So let's move into a little road time lapse here, get some new frames established against this waterfront and key arterial infrastructure. So there we go, we now have trams moving around our skeleton frame, and my word, do I love the road builder mod, absolutely fabulous. Just this is what I was so excited to get stuck into. Because Edinburgh's already so established, so it's kind of hard to rework around all that major infrastructure. So just having a blank canvas like this in Kokai, I can see road builder appearing many times throughout this area as we need kind of a lot of custom networks. Very much looking forward to it. It should be good. Either way, the new area has also been named. It's now Triton. Of course, we have Sully here, which encompasses this whole coastal district. And I think we'll make Triton this whole area up here as well. Of course, named after Triton Supreme. Wonderful extra detail and tools and all the wonderful stuff we had available as part of the group of modders and beautiful people that put that together. Of course, so let's get started. So I think we'll dive into Parks and Rec, and we'll grab a community pool. So these things are a little bit expensive, but they do give plus 20 summer season recreation, and Kokai is in a permanent summer just because of its hemisphere setting. It's obviously inspired by a Thai map, so kind of makes sense. I think we're going to place that there. That's going to give a lot of recreation for our people, make everyone very happy indeed. And then to begin our crawl to medium density, I think what I'd begin to, or like to explore to play with here, is going to be a little kind of custom condo complex. I think we can make use of a alleyway road, and we're going to bring this down here. Now, I'll probably run it as a frontage road against here, I imagine. So let's go into FindIt, and then we'll go for our filters. Let's just find an asset that we're happy to turn into a bit of a condo complex here. I think some of these little 2x3s, I think we'll explore these. Now, how about we move them together into a fusion? I think we could probably get away with this maybe 3 times, possibly 4. And so I think with just such little asset selection, still in CS2, obviously it's waiting for kind of proper custom assets, isn't it? There's another condo actually we just unlocked. Maybe we can use that a little bit further down the coastline. As I was saying, because there's so few assets, I think that fusing and splicing with MoveIt is our best friend in CS2 for the time being. So once these trees grow up, I think I'll be a little bit happier. We could even do custom trees here as well. Now, I'm not actually sure if trees block noise pollution in CS2. I'm sure they still do. But if you were to just mimic the oaks with actual live oaks on the road, how do we feel about that? Thinking just to block a little bit of the noise pollution from the tram depot for condo complex here. We'll leave it, see how we feel as it goes on. So at the heart of the condo complex, I'd love some parking. Again, I'm going to place down the parking buildings rather than some custom, I think. Let's go for the covered one. I think that'd be quite appropriate in a condo, won't it? We're only 2 tiles deep as well. Yeah, something like that should be good, I think. Get some trees in the middle there as well. And then we'll repeat that pattern this side too. And I think we'll grab a larger building for the corner here as well. Go for that one. Otherwise, we can bring Recolour in here too, can't we? Why don't we change this pretty disgusting looking beige colour into something a bit nicer? So why don't we go for some cute little turquoise apartments, and then with the copy and paste feature here. Oh, I hit the wrong button there. I decided to all of them. But there are various copy and paste features here as well, so you can set them all up how you like. Let's bring them all in line a little bit more. Cool, so I think we'll also provide some little pathways into the condo either side here. Let's just snap straight into our grid for ease of access here. And bring them down. We'll probably keep similar sort of building on the side here as well. Now don't forget, if you are going to be plopping like this, don't forget to, of course, lock your buildings, otherwise they will level up and change, as we have experienced in the past before. If you're not plopping and you don't really care about them changing, you don't need to worry about this. Then I think with these greyer apartments on the corner, let me go for a bit of a bolder yellow maybe. That's actually quite disgusting, isn't it? Let's not do that. Let's do maybe a slightly darker blue, might be quite good. Then we'll copy that one. And then I wouldn't mind a little bit of a larger tower sat on the corner here as well. Let's just budge him along a little bit with MoveIt. Cool. And then I think with the rest of it, we'll kind of box it in with whatever net lanes are left around it, which looks to be majority hedge, I think, isn't it? And then just like so, we can border off our condo complex using some pretty tasty designs. Then hopefully just as we drive past this now, you'll just kind of see it's a bit more of a, I guess, bespoke development is what we're looking for here, isn't it? Maybe some chain fencing by the entrance too. Yeah, pathways as well, perhaps, I think might be quite nice. Just as a bit of a gate. Have it touch into the building next door. Give us some happy little alleyways through there, won't it? Now hopefully as we drive past this on the main road, it just looks like a little bit more of a purposeful development. Going to help us satisfy some zone in there as well, isn't it? And they've got straight access here. into, I guess we could actually maybe delete that sub element there on the fence, and then why don't we add the one we were just using actually? I think that'd be quite cute. Let's block off access from there. Then that way the people in the condo, they can kind of use this gate to get into the pool, like they already have access to it, and you know the public has to come in through here and pay. Maybe we can go with that vibe. A little bit of respect the door, if you will, is what we're trying to go for there. It looks like the homeless are in goal for Triton FC. They are still all over the city. I guess there's not a lot more we can do about it. Are all these homeless? Yeah, they all are. Yeah, until that bug gets fixed, which hopefully isn't too far away now. Colossal Aura back from their vacation. We'll see. So I like that. One not custom block there. Wonderful. So let's add some row houses into our configuration now. So in terms of where I want these to sit, because we're moving into a bit more of a medium density area, I'd like to think that land is at a little bit more of a premium over here than it is. So I'd like these row houses to be a little bit smaller. So I think we'll save 3 deep for the actual house, then a pathway in between, and then I'd also like 3 deep the other side as well. So that configuration should take us to about there. Cool. So I think for this, we'll probably go with North American. I'd like to mix and match of both the assets. Let's get a row housing, have it in here. Same thing over this side as well. And then I would like to have a pathway snapped into the grid that runs behind. And then we'll keep the area nice and walkable. And I think we'll do a couple of blocks of this as well. Cool, so this will give us some row housing blocks near the waterfront, which I'm happy with. Before we do head into today's detail and time-lapse for working with all these areas around here, I did mention I would like to just briefly explore what a possible train station connection against some of this tram infrastructure might look like. So during this week's episode of Edinburgh, we created a new network joining our train lines. Now this is a double track with platform, again, made using the road builder mod, but it's going to give us platforms on a train station, which is tremendously exciting. So let's snap into a grid here. I think we'll just put it, and can we put it right next door? Let's maybe do 2 tiles away from the road. 104 meters seems pretty sensible, doesn't it? And how about that? So the awkward thing with these is that the platforms are really high, kind of too high to take a step. Now, we can use props to essentially make some makeshift staircases, but I think if we were to sink this down, just ever so slightly, I also want to bring it right up next to that tram line as well, just so we can see how far we need to sink this to get it to just look and behave how I'm envisioning. Let's bring it right up next to it. And using those page up and down keys, just want to create a tiny little lip between the tram and essentially what will become a train station one day. And that's sort of what I want. I did the catenary to kind of float in here, but I'm sure we can dig out some props to help with that. And then this train track will of course run straight across. We can possibly fuse that into a super node, I guess we'll see. And then this really is where I would like this train line to stop much less frequently, of course, than the light rail tram is, whilst it then continues to run parallel with the national highway and eventually off around the coast to stop at another town and eventually meeting up with the CBD in a grander train station that will eventually loop around the island to come all the way back through here, possibly pass this side of the highway with Sully, and then cross over the highway to link back up with the rail over here. So that's the plan, and hopefully as this tram approaches now, we can possibly see what that looks like. Isn't that going to be exciting when we get the train in here as well? So I think we'll go with that. We'll leave that as a concept, as a reminder of what's going to happen down here. And I guess maybe could we also, I know the pedestrian road doesn't massively like it when we draw in here. Does destroy our lines, but we can actually feed that pedestrian road all the way down, can we? Yeah, it looks like we can, although our tram lines are not happy about that. Can we fix that? Or for some reason it's decided to take the tram stop there. Okay, well, we'll add in... Okay, well, let's just reform these tram stops. If it doesn't like it, we'll have one this side and then one that side. I think as a general concept for a future transit stop here, we can maybe fuse in some unique buildings around this as well. Of course, there's lots of inspiration from Oceanside as well, which a lot of this area is really going to be based upon as well. I can't wait for that. All of a sudden, this new area of Kokai has become incredibly exciting. How do you feel about our row houses here? Yeah, I don't mind them. Maybe some net lanes along the back to introduce maybe a little bit of fencing. I think. But lots of new people arriving on their row homes by the sea. So let's continue to fill out these spaces. I want more row housing here. I might even do some low rent housing around these spaces, maybe where it's louder around the tram depot. And of course detail up our bus transit stop here as well. And I might even do some light detailing over by the train stop too. I just can't help myself. really interested to see how this is going to develop. Either way, we will get on with some detailing and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, let's have a little look around the midtown of Triton, shall we? So, a little bus stop here. It's already getting some nice little conversions as well, actually. Hopefully there's a bus not too far away. He's going to come into the hub, pick some people up and drop some off, and those people grab a tram. Very cool. So just some really basic service work. We've got one of the eco pavements in here, I think it's called. And then just general kind of public transport detailing, shelters, bins, benches and kiosks, everything we usually place around these sort of things, and a really nice development of Greenbelt as we come into the town here. Just such an enormous lover of this tram system. It's absolutely beautiful. Love it. And some people even stopping further down the road now as well. In around here we built during the episode. We also have a new med clinic in this part of town now as well, as there was some demand for healthcare. Joining some parking behind this, which really extends into kind of a much natural, kind of organic inner city back alley space, which is really, really nice. It's like all these extendable surfaces and textures are just making such a difference to like these little modded, intricate, detailed areas. It's a lot of fun to play with, so huge fan of this little block here with the parking behind it. And then some low rent housing mixed in amongst apartments. North American row housing is very much the go-to vibe around here, if you like. Over this side as well, it also continues, also took more inspiration from Oceanside for how there's just kind of some dusty no man's land left between public transport and the houses, which is a real nice aesthetic. I think we'll definitely keep this going, at least for the foreseeable, down the side of the tram line. Just a bit of dusty, sandy belt that hugs the light rail as it heads through town. So a nice little kind of break in the pattern there. Big fan of that. Trams are so loud. It's like incredible. So I'm happy with that. We did another little custom condo complex just to fill some more space here. Fusing of apartment buildings with parking space around it. These guys also have a basketball court over here with a gym. And just a nice little space filler. There's also a little gas station tucked in here, alongside another little small shop as well. Alongside a dog park that sits against some more apartments, which is all very nice. So these guys all homeless? No, you're okay. You all just stood outside your house, I think, right? Yeah, that's fine. Playground, more commercial, all pieced together. Some of this is zoned and some of it is plopped. We're just plopping the spaces that needed it. A little one on the corner over there as well. So a really nice main street coming down here. Lots of parking too, and then more row housing here as the build fades out as to what will potentially become, and I guess, a little bit of a Triton Midtown, bordering on high density, not super tall towers, but definitely some kind of big commercial waterfront down here. Lots of mixed use, a little bit more sand over here too, possibly some more signature buildings along this strip as well, and maybe a little bit more road builder as and when we need it. And then just drawn in some parking to prepare for this transport hub build at some point when we are ready to implement trains. Again, there's no real point yet paying for the rail yard, just because we don't have trains. We don't have anywhere to send them. But definitely when we come to set up the next town, which, analysing the topography, I'm not sure what's going to happen. This little basin looks like it might make quite a nice town, mightn't it? It's also got a mountain road coming down here too. So that might be quite nice, but more likely out in these more open plains, where we do have a little bit of a river, is maybe where another town will form. So that rail, of course, one day will eventually run over to that. And maybe we can do some highway train roads, might be quite fun. We could possibly have a look at that now. I'll tell you what, why don't we? Let's go ahead and draw down a 2-lane, or 4, we'll do 4-lane highway, I think. Let's just bang on a little bit of road builder here. I just want to see what the concept is like. So, train track on the right. That is going to be a multi-directional train track, of course. So I had one the other way. And then, of course, a median between that has to be, doesn't it? Quite a thick median as well, I would imagine. So maybe something like that is what can run for the duration of this line here, to essentially to replace this configuration. Not sure how realistic that is, but certainly a lot of fun to be had, isn't there, with Road Builder. And then we'll form an interchange down here as another means into the town, because currently it's just very basic T intersections on the National Road. So eventually these will overload as the traffic gets busier. There we go, we do have a little bit of traffic actually. Is this just, oh, it's all the way down here too. Would you look at that? I'm guessing this is just the wave of people moving in, isn't it? Because we just placed so much housing. I'm assuming so. Ree's family. I mean, it is clearing at least. It's not horrendous. A light has happened to stagger the flow, isn't it? There's a little bit more busy down here as well. That seems to be moving. Yeah, I'm guessing that's just population influx. It is actually clearing the backlog now. So, but either way, proving my point, further intersections are needed, especially as this population continues to grow. So we'll build a dedicated kind of proper interchange down here rather than another T-junction. There's quite a nice one in Oceanside that I'm eyeing up as possible inspiration for that. Otherwise, guys, it is going to do it for today. Let's thank you all so much indeed for watching. If you have enjoyed it, likes, comments, and shares below always help the channel to grow. And a shout out to the patrons with a special roll call to Louis Adlam and O'Hay Casino. If you are interested in getting a little bit more egg in your life, there's early access, podcasts, previews, and a nice little community to be had over on the Patreon. And there's always instant gaming as well, which helps support these videos, and you'll get yourself a fantastic deal in return. Really nice to add the Recolour mod into Cities today. You can really see from this perspective, just having some colourful buildings just really helps things to pop. I'm being a little bit more creative today as well, kind of forming condo complexes around to help satisfy some of that residential demand is coming off really nicely. Got a big kind of Midtown ocean front build to head into next episode. It should be a lot of fun. And I'm absolutely loving the trams in this area. I can't wait to do more road build fun with tram networks, just to see what we can possibly piece together as the city continues to grow. Well, massive thank you for all supporting the channel. It's so nice to be welcoming so many new people after hitting 100k subscribers. I love you all. Thank you so much indeed for supporting the channel. Otherwise, I'll shut up and leave it there. I'd like to thank you all so much indeed for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.